My mom created a fun way for us to learn the most important rules of life. Yah's commands.
With Yah's Big Ten Commands, we get to see His will is best for us.
Keep Yah first.
No graven images.
Don't take Yah's name in vain.
Remember Shabbat and keep it holy.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Mr. and Mrs., don't cheat.
Don't steal.
Don't tell lies.
Don't covet.
This changes everything. Get your set of Yah's Big Ten Commands at Big Ten Designs today.
Even when I'm weak, your word sustains me. I can suffer long. Nothing can change me or take away my love of y'all. Into the future, needing answers so bad. It's hard to bear. It's all consuming.
Shalom guys, Dalton here. Got a special announcement coming up in the summer. I'm going to be having a debate with the elder Hoshua Amariel in Israel. Brother Hoshua Amariel has many YouTube videos stating that the true land of Mount Zion and Jerusalem is in Tel Arad in Negev. And his stance is that the biblical exodus happened to modern-day Israel, meaning that they did not migrate south into the interiors of sub-Saharan Africa, the wilderness of sub-Saharan Africa, and that the true land of Canaan is in this direction. Now, we're going to have a debate, and my stance is that the true land of Canaan is not in modern-day Israel, that is in sub-Saharan Africa, and therefore Mount Zion and Jerusalem is also in sub-Saharan Africa, and that the Israelites, when they left with Moses, with the mixed multitude, that they went south and traveled through the dense forest and grasslands and mountainous, hilly areas of sub-Saharan Africa, and they did not cross the Red Sea. They did not wander in the desert wilderness of Saudi Arabia or the Sinai Peninsula or Jordan to get to modern-day Israel. So this debate is going to be happening on Zoom in a controlled setting with a moderator. And then after the Zoom debate is done, which is going to be a 2-day debate, then the replay will be available only on h2ntv.com. This is not going on YouTube. because I've been banned from YouTube, and YouTube is not going to get any business from me in regards to this debate. So this debate between myself and Hoshua Amariel, straight out of Israel, is going to be on Zoom. The first 1,000 attendees will have a set ticket price. And then after we reach 1,000 attendees, if we reach 1,000 attendees, then it'll be a higher price because it costs money to do certain meetings and webinars on Zoom with a certain number of people, up to a certain amount. They have a cap. So if you want to see and hear this debate between myself and Hoshua Amariel, straight out of Israel, he's the brother's an elder, has done a lot of research, a lot of archaeological research that he has in regards to his claims that the true land of Canaan and the true Exodus happened the way that most Israelites today in America and the world believe it to have happened. So if you want to be a part of this great debate and you want to pre-register for tickets, then email me at HebrewsToNegroes@yahoo.com. Again, if you want to pre-register and get on the list for this great debate, when the box office opens, then email me at HebrewsToNegroes@yahoo.com. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until I open up the box office and provide the link to register for this 2-day debate. Shalom.
We the children of light, and we will never let up. Never giving up fight, yeah. We didn't make it through the night, yeah. Thunder crawling all night, but keep your head up, Charlie. We were made for this life, yeah. Wait to see how we rise up. We've been down for too long, waiting for a come up. Better days around the corner, all the pain made us stronger, yeah. We aim for the long run, keep on surviving in this war for no reason. Now we changing the season, yeah. Storm is over now, storm is over now. Me I say storm is over now. Storm is over now, storm is over now. Me I say storm is over now. Storm is change is coming tonight. Can see the sky start to clear up. We've been waiting for life, oh. Never giving up the fight, no. Start a countdown right now. About to take off, yeah. It's our turn to rise, oh. We're the children of light, oh. We've been down for too long, waiting for a come up. Better days around the corner, all the pain made us stronger, yeah. We aim for the long run, keep on surviving in this war for no reason. We're the people, Shema, Israel. We're the people, Shema, Shema, Israel. We the people of the book. I stay humble, I ain't even boasting. I'm just here telling you facts. No more secret, it's gotta be spoken. We out here living a lie. 3/5, but they say that we equal. So put your hands up in the sky. Represent for the chosen people. Melanin, yeah, we got a lot of it. I can see the fear in them when they look at it. Lacking understanding, cause it's their nature. They don't fear God, but concerned about some glaciers. They always wanna justify, define themselves not guilty. Pride so puffed up high, living in iniquity. We the people, Shema, Israel. We the people, Shema, Shema, Israel. We the people, Shema, Israel. We the people, Shema, Shema, Israel. We the people, Shema, Israel. We the people, Shema, Shema, Israel. We the people, Shema, Israel. We the people, Shema, Shema, Israel. We the people that they took
I stay humble, I will not be shaken. My people is starting to wake up. Their minds scramble, need a shake up. They rewriting history, whitewashing images, forgery. It's all a conspiracy, crafted counsel from our enemies. They stole our identities, done away with our heritage. Had us working in the fields, broken, we can't get no settlement. So cruel, they took it too far on them people that resemble Kadar. Perpetually, they really hate us, but we quickly coming out of our haters. We're the people, Shema, Israel. We're the people, Shema, Shema, Israel. We're the people, Shema, Israel. We're the people.
Was the Egyptians back then, were they black or were they white?
I don't think that society back then.
No. You know the history. You know what Herodotus said. You know what different scholars say. You know what the pictures look like on the walls of Egypt. You know what the wooden statues of the Egyptians.
All right. Grace and peace to everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and say it because I'm going to be able to say it tomorrow. Shabbat shalom to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me once again here on the platform Ashanda at Large. If you are new here, we welcome you to the platform. You might be new here, but I'm sure you're not new to our guest, right? Because this man has gone all over. His name has gone all over the world. He is an international Hebrew figure, and he is making such a huge difference and an impact all over the world. And it kind of got started a couple of years ago. Now you think I'm talking about the Kyrie Irving incident, but actually I'm not. I'm talking about Hebrews to Negroes, this phenomenal documentary book, first before it's a documentary, and series that's come out from the only Ron Dalton Jr., and he is joining us once again today. And he's got some things that he wants to share. As y'all see that he is getting ready to do a debate with the elder Hashua. And listen, family, get on that debate. If you could be there, get on that debate, because I know you got questions. Like I know that you have questions concerning the land, our land, right? We're scattered to the four corners of the earth, and we want to know, what is it? Is it that little piece over there that they call the Middle East? That there's no peace in the Middle East? Or is it sub-Saharan Africa? And we've talked about this on the platform before, but Ron is gracing us with his presence once again, and it is a true blessing. Why? Because such a sharp mind, he is like a Hebrew encyclopedia, to be able to help us to understand more scripturally, geographically, historically about who we are as a people is always a blessing to have him on. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring the man of the hour in, Brother Ron Dalton. Grace and peace to you, my brother. Welcome to the platform once again.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be back on YouTube.
You know he's saying that because he's permanently imprisoned away from this platform, but he's taking a bit. You know, we give him a little sneak in every now and then on YouTube. So glad to have you in here again. So let's talk. You said you got some stuff that you want to share with us today. Now, we talked just briefly, not even talk, but just shared about your debate that you're going to be doing with Hashua, and we could talk about that as well, but I want to give you an opportunity to speak with the audience and let them know what it is that you got to say.
The debate, I've talked to him, Hashua, and some others on the phone yesterday, and he didn't know about me. His colleagues did. He's been in Israel for at least over 30 years. He was part of the people that left Chicago, went to Liberia, and then the Israelites that went from Liberia to Israel. They're there now. He knows about the Israelites in Dimona, but they have their own, I think it's the Israelite Organization of Unity. And he's the chief rabbi of their organization, and he's done a lot of archaeological research into the land of Israel, the true Jerusalem or true Mount Zion, which they believe is in Tel Arad, which was in the Negev in the desert. I think close to Beersheba. And so his one of his colleagues reached out to me, and I said, yeah, I can, I don't mind talking to you guys and seeing what's going on. But I told him, well, I have a disagreement. I don't believe that any of us African Americans, whether we get reparations or not, I don't believe we need to leave America and go to Israel. I think that's a bad decision, and I believe that because I don't believe that land is the holy land. I don't believe that's the land of milk and honey. The land that's a good land, it's a spacious land. The Bible says that God or Yah searched the whole world and picked out that piece of land because it was the glory of all the lands. It was the glory. I mean, Yah says it's the glory. He said he searched the whole world. And out of the whole world, he said that little piece of land is the glory of all the lands. And I said, no, that's not it, brother. And I said, respectfully, I believe this is where it's at. And I said, and so in regards to the debate, the two main topics of discussion is going to be where was the true biblical Exodus route? Did the Israelites travel and migrate either cross the Red Sea into Saudi Arabia, like a lot of Israelites today teach, and then into Jordan and then into Israel, or did they go to the Sinai Peninsula? Did they travel and traverse through the deserts, through the dry, arid deserts where there's no life, where there's no animals? I mean, we read in the Bible, in the book of Numbers, we read about the rhinoceros, and in the King James, they changed it in the 1611 to unicorn. So we're not tricked by that. At least we shouldn't be tricked, because tricks is for kids, and we're not kids. And so all these animals that are described in the book of Numbers and in the Torah, and you're reading it, and you're like, wait a minute, you got ostriches and hyenas and leopards and lions, and you got jackals, you got rhinoceroses, you got elephants, you got all these different animals. Even you got giraffes, you got zebras. How can these animals not indigenous to Jordan or Israel or Sinai Peninsula or Saudi Arabia? And you read the Bible, and it says it's a land that has the waters of heavens pouring down, the water below. It's a land full of mountains. Remember, there's a Hebrew word for hill. It's called Gibah. I think it's Gibah. And there's a word for mountain, which is har. So the Bible says that the land of Canaan is full of mountains and hills and valleys and streams and rivers and torrents. Torrents is waterfalls. And all these things, silver and gold and iron and copper and zinc and bronze. And it's like, wait a minute, like these things are not in Israel. And so I told him, I said, nah, I said, we're getting confused here. I said, we've been tricked too long. And I said, the Israelites, they went south. They traveled south. They went to fertile land. They went to the land of Canaan. And I said, this is where they went, and this is where they are today. And I explained to him all these things. And I said, well, first and foremost, I don't care what anybody says about the Euphrates River and where is it at, And I said, who are the Canaanites today? Who are the Canaanites? Sometimes I'm tired of people talking about, well, do you believe that it's from the Nile to the Euphrates? I said, well, we understand the greater Israel territory because the Jews go by that. But I said, who are the Canaanites today? Who are they? Why are we so confused on this matter? Like the Canaanites are all dead, like they're just deceased, like they're just gone. I said, no, the Canaanites are here today. And if they're not here today, their DNA lives within us. So we should be able to trace that because DNA cannot be changed. You can rename rivers, you can rename mountains, you can rename hills, you can call this mound Mount Zion when it's not really a mountain, even though the scripture says har to Zion. That's a mountain, but Mount Zion is a mound. It's a mound. It's not a mountain. Nobody can look at Mount Zion and say, oh, that's a big mountain. That's the mountain of the Lord. No, it's a mound. And so all these things, we can rename things. We can replace archaeological artifacts and place it in museums in Israel and say that we got it from here, or this shows that this is the proof. People can even chisel stuff in Paleo Hebrew. I mean, we got Israelites today that can write and inscribe on paper or on the computer and make T-shirts with ancient Hebrew on it.
we can do that. We can make T-shirts that have ancient Hebrew on it because we know how to write ancient Hebrew now. But these things, I said, at the end of the day, we have to look at reality. I understand what the KJV authorized translation says. I understand that the Greeks they took control of it and translated and authorized and gave us the Greek Septuagint. But at the end of the day, I said this debate is opposing arguments. It's a discussion revolving around the opposing arguments. And I said, so it's good that we need to break bread and to talk about these things. It's not like a Mike Tyson, fight where we're going to, go for the jugular. No, we're going to share information, and we're going to let our people know that's in the YouTube world and anywhere else in the world. It could be Gentiles listening, it could be Arabs, it could be Jews. This is a good way for us to get an understanding of where the true land of Canaan is. I mean, we talked yesterday. He said that a lot of people in Israel, they love his research. They love him and what he does. And he said to me, he said, Ron, he said, people in Israel, they hate you. He said, the people in Israel, they hate your guts. He said, because you're saying a lot of things that they don't like. And he says, he said, I'm going to win. And if I win, then the Jews are going to be happy because I'm defending the stance that this place that I'm standing on is the true land of Canaan. So I'm a champion and defending.
Hold on. I have to say, you might be getting some of them Jewish dollars at your debate because they're going to be watching. They want to see for sure. But go ahead, my brother. I just thought that was really interesting.
So he said, Hoshua said that, he said, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I said, I laughed. He said, and the Jews will be happy because, if I win, then I will shut your ideologies down, and it'll reign supreme that Israel is the real Israel. And I just said, okay. I said, yeah, the Jews are going to be happy if he can prove that modern day Israel, where you're at right now, is the true land of Canaan. But best believe, brother, I got some stuff, that you guys, I got stuff for days. I got stuff that make you fall asleep because it's too much information. But I said, nevertheless, we need to do this debate. And we talked about the specifics, the moderator, the time and when to do it. And I told them it's going to be on Zoom and then H2N TV, no YouTube play. And so that's one thing. I'm excited for that because in Israel today, I told his people, I said there's no Israelites in America. They hear me talking about this all the time. They hear me talking about going to Africa and Israel and the Congo. I said, but we got mighty leaders, generals, bishops, captains, that believe otherwise, but I'm teaching. And I said, nobody has offered to challenge Ron Dalton on this topic. And I said, I'm not on YouTube anymore. So, I'm not trying to do this to gain 1 million followers on YouTube or 1 million subscribers and all sorts of stuff. Click here to subscribe, and I'm not monetizing because I'm not on YouTube. But I said it's crazy that I'm here talking to you, and I said, would you like to debate or have a discussion? And you said, sure, I'll debate you. I said, okay, and that was it. That's how easy it was. But and it's good for Israel to see and get an understanding because he's going to bring a lot of research because he's in Israel. So he could say that I've been to Mount Zion, I've been to Mount Olives, I've been to Jericho, I've been to Tel Arad, I've been to Beersheba. He could say I've been to Samaria. He could say I've been to Jerusalem. He could say he's been anywhere in Israel, and that's even more stance that he can stand on and say, this is my facts, and then I'm gonna hit him with all my facts. And so look out for that. I guess we'll do another YouTube with you to let you know when we have the exact date, and then of course I'll be promoting it on my platforms where I'm shadow banned heavily. They don't want to see nobody see me doing anything. But that's one of the things that I want to talk about. The other thing is
okay. Well, I want to say before you move on, just want to say shout out to Elder Hoshua because You know, one thing I know that, Ron, that you have, like you kind of mentioned just a minute ago, when you want to talk to other leaders, generals, elders about your differences, then there tends to be a wall that is built up. So the fact that you were able to have a good conversation and that this is not going to be some drag out, knockout fight. This is intellectual conversation concerning something that is very important to all of us. We all want to be informed. And for you to be in South Africa, for him to be in the state of Israel and have so much history from being there since the 80s, being an elder there, I do believe that it's going to be jam-packed with a lot of good information for everyone to take away in their prayer closet and to ask the Most High to give revelation on after they hear from both sides. That's biblical. You need to hear from both sides before you answer a matter. So I think that's phenomenal. I just want to give a shout out to Elder Halshua for taking the time out to actually converse with you in debate style. So go ahead and let's continue. Let's know what else is going on.
But one of the things that we have to realize is that he doesn't care about the ramifications of the repercussions if he was going to suffer a loss, and because I'm confident that I'm going to win. You see, what I think is happening in Israel, and this is also happening in the religions of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. We have a lot of mega pastors, a lot of pastors that know about the Hebrew Israelites. Not one Christian pastor has challenged me to a debate, not one. Aside from Harry Rosenberg, who was light work, that was a long time ago, there's not been one Jewish rabbi in the world that has challenged me to a debate. And in regards to the Hebrew Israelites, you know, I understand when you have a lot of followers and you got many different channels and you got many different congregations in Michigan, Detroit, Atlanta, Florida, Miami, Seattle, California, Texas, St. Louis, Arkansas. You could have congregations in Ghana, Uganda, and the Caribbean, and all over the world, UK. If your camp or organization or assembly or church is very large, and you challenge Ron Dalton, you challenge me to a debate on something like Esau's a white man, or all Africans are Hamites, or where's the true land of Canaan, and all these different things. You know, when you confront the truth, then you're risk for your followers seeing their champion, their leader, their moray, the person they believe in, be defeated. And you know, when Goliath taunted the God of Israel and the Israelites, the warriors of Israel, they were scared, and they didn't want to fight this giant and be defeated. And they stood up. They're going to stand up for Israel. Like, I'm going to stand up for Israel, fight for the God of Israel. But this giant, he's going to beat me. I'm gonna look terrible in front of all my brethren and put us to shame. But David had no fear. He was confident that the Most High was going to deliver Goliath into their hands. But a lot of what the tactic is now is to protect your beliefs, your agendas, maybe your lies, your false doctrines, your ideologies that's leading people astray that they don't know. You cannot confront the truth. This is in Christianity, Islam, Judaism. A Muslim imam or Jewish rabbi, chief rabbi, they cannot confront the truth if they know that if somehow, some way they lose, then all those people that look up to them and say, chief rabbi, rabbi, is he right, rabbi, they're going to say, wow, who's this man, Ron Dalton? Look at this research he's come up with. Look at the stuff. We never heard this in our whole life. We never studied this. We don't know about this. All we know about is the Apocrypha and the lost tribes in the Promised Land and Babylon, Timbuktu, and Russian icons and just what they're teaching us, and that's it. And so you cannot let thousands and thousands and millions of followers worldwide see you talk to somebody that you're going to use critical thinking, logic, and bring out scholarship and research and pack it all together so it makes sense. And they say, "Oh wow," the light bulb goes off. You say, "Man, this guy's spot on." You cannot let that happen because this is the same way the Christian pastors are afraid of the Israelite doctrine creeping into their church and taking over, and people leaving their church services because they no longer believe in Christianity. They go into the Israelites, and so that affects their pockets, that affects their attendance, that affects a lot of things. And I think this is what we are fearing in Israel. The reason why many leaders do not want to sit down and talk to me. But you'll see, and even in South Africa, I'm noticing that there are certain YouTube channels or YouTube persona in South Africa that are well known scholars, Pan-African, African spirituality, history, and all that stuff. They will interview and talk to other Israelites, like for instance, IUIC. They'll talk to them. And they'll be seen on YouTube talking to them, breaking bread, discussing topics, whether they oppose or agree. But when it comes to Ron Dalton, they run. They don't want to answer. They say, "No, I need to study. I need to know what topic it is, and this is a trick question, and I don't want to answer the question." And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, we're talking about the Bible here. This is the Bible. This is history. Either that or they interview me and they say, "Well, are you ready? Are you ready? I'm gonna challenge you." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna ask you some questions. I'm gonna ask you some questions too. Put you in the hot seat. I'm gonna put you in the hot seat." "Well, I got people that can debate you." I said, "Bring them on. Bring on whoever you got. Are you ready?" I said, "Are you ready?" I said, I guarantee you after this interview, you're not gonna air it on YouTube. You're not gonna post it. "Oh no, we're gonna post it." I said, "What?" I said, "You're not gonna post it because you're scared." I said, "Wait, he's scared of what?" I said, "Scared of some individuals that you may have alliances with that don't like it when I say things I have to say. The information I put out, and people know who they are." I said, "You're gonna get scared. You're gonna start worrying about, I'm gonna lose my channel. I'm gonna get a copyright strike, a community guideline strike, or I'm just gonna get a lot of backlash." And I say, and I tell people, I said, "If you don't hear this interview, then everything I said, I'm right." He said, "No, I'm gonna hear the interview. Don't worry, I'm gonna hear the interview." I said, "Okay." I said, and when the interview's done, and I said, "When you're going to air the interview?" "Oh, give me till next month." "Okay, next month here, next month. Okay, we 3 months have passed by now. What's going on with the interview?" "Oh man, I lost the footage," or "We cannot air the footage." I was like, "I told you." I said, "This is a waste of my time. You said you're ready and all sorts of stuff. You said you down, you want the truth. You fact checking everything I say during the interview on your phone and all sorts of stuff. But when it comes down, and I can show pictures of people that I've actually had interviews with, but the interview's not on YouTube because they're scared. They're scared to put it on YouTube. I can show you pictures right now of well-known South African social media lights on YouTube with lots of followers, but they will not put it on YouTube because they're scared. They're scared of what I'm saying in the YouTube video. And
you had shared with me that you're getting testimonies from those who are able to access your different social pages and saying that they're actually getting blocked from their platform.
Yeah.
Like TikTok.
Yeah, people periodically tell me in my DM and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok that they will post a positive comment like, "Ron Dalton, we love your work. We love your Hebrews thing or Street Sound Alarm. That was one of the best films we've seen. Keep up the good work." And then they'll get a community guideline strike. The comment will be removed, or they'll be banned from TikTok, banned from Twitter, deleted from YouTube. And someone will screenshot me what they actually posted, and they'll say, "Ron, this is crazy." I said, "For a comment on your page, people are getting literally community guideline strike. This goes against our community." And I'm reading it. It's all nothing positive. Same thing with Benea. Benea just posted the promotional trailer of the Great Tribulation Conference in Tampa, Florida last year. That's all he did was promote the trailer. And he called me. He said, "Brother Ron," he said, "at this time mark is where they're saying is the community guideline violation." I said, "You just simply talking about the venue. And Ron Dalton and Lawrence and the Hebrew Single Straight Sound and Learn, the movie premiere, he said, yeah, Ron, he said, this is what got my channel suspended. And I hope I don't lose it, because if I do, I'm going to Rumble. And I said, this is wild, this is crazy. And Lawrence, and you know about this thing. So they just hate me on social media. They hate me, so this is the reality.
Do y'all hear that? Brother Benea, if y'all follow his channel, a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago, he said that he had to go over to Rumble, and it was based on the promo to Hebrews to Negroes 3 and just the place of venue. And so thankfully he didn't lose his platform. But I'm understanding now, y'all, my little old platform, I praise Yahuwah for it. We're going on 10,000 subscribers. And if you are not subscribed, you can make that possible for us to get to 10,000 subscribers by hitting that subscription button. But people with platforms with, let's say, 50,000 or over subscribers, and that really, on the scope of what it means to be like a huge influencer on YouTube, that's actually small numbers, because when we're talking about getting up to the hundreds, thousands, millions, there are plenty of social media influencers who have those numbers. But in the Hebrew community, even if you have 50,000 subscribers or more, your channel is being threatened to be pulled down just because you make mention of Brother Ron's projects. That's why even some of the times when he does videos on my channel, I'm like chancing it, because I told you I got strike once too. And so I chance it sometimes, but what I do, and I tell you guys, I'm not stopping anybody. If you have access to download these videos, then download them, right? I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to give you the copyrights for sharing any of that information, because I can't always keep the videos up, just because sometimes what happens is that people will go and report the video because they don't want to see his face, or the algorithms will recognize it, and then they will go and take that person down. And once you have a platform where you have worked and you've built up, yeah, it definitely does impact. So I think with these particular content creators in South Africa, Ron, that's what they're looking at, is that they probably got such a wide audience, and the strings could be pulled like that because they aired that interview with you. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Dr. Mumbi Saraki, she said that she caught a lot of heat when she promoted the Soweto theater event, and Go Black to Africa. When he did interview me, like during the Kyrie incident, he said, Ron, me and you did the interview. You was in your car talking, no music, and he said that they gave him a community guideline strike, and he doesn't understand why they did that. And he said, Ron, we just was talking about the Kyrie incident and some other things, and he said they took the video down, gave me a strike, and because I asked him if he could promote H2N3, and he said, no, I can't, brother, I can't risk it. And he does a lot of videos where he talks about the Israelites in the Igbo land and different places, and a lot in Ethiopia, and I understand. I mean, I don't know how a lot of these brothers are doing videos about the Israelites and different things, and they don't get their YouTube channel deleted or banned or suspended. But as soon as they get Ron Dalton on there, it's like somebody's watching, like get him off of there, like delete the video. So a lot of people are scared to interview me, other than you and Lawrence. So it is what it is.
Wow, but you know what? For those of you who are wondering why the debate has to be situated in the platform that it does, that's why. This is exactly why. So I'm really glad, Ron, that you fleshed out the reason behind what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. Because sometimes people are like, well, why don't you just have it over here? But they don't understand all that it takes when you're being heavily censored. And it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. But nevertheless, the Most High, all praises be unto him, that the work is still getting put out there. The work is still getting done, and people's lives are still changing. The impact that you're making is still tremendous. So let's talk about some of the other projects that you are working on, because I know it's a lot. I know you're taking on a lot, but we want, when you have the opportunity to come on here, to let everyone know what you've been doing so that they can continue to follow the work that Yahuwah has been blessing you with.
All right, the next thing is I was able to secure the date for another Hebrews to Negroes movie event at Soweto Theater, and I think right, Bayas, right. I think I don't know if you have the flyer. I have it on my presentation. It's a short presentation, but July the 13th at Soweto Theater, I'm going to be having a 8-hour Hebrews to Negroes event, and I'm going to be showing the movie Hebrews to Negroes 3 Sound the Alarm. And the reason why this is significant is because uh, last year when I tried to show the movie at Monte Casino Theater in Johannesburg, 10 days prior to the event actually happening, the owners of the Sassogo Center, the Monte Casino Theaters, the owners, they own the casinos, the hotels, the restaurants. They own all that stuff. The movie theaters. They email Sterkina Corp. And Sterkina Corp is the person that I had the contract with, the company. It's like Sterkina Corp is like AMC. And Sterkina Corp got an executive order that they had to shut down the event. They had to shut down the event, and they did. And then 3 days after the event was no longer going on May the 20th, 3 days later, on May the 23rd, the South African Jewish Board of Deputies and workmen's attorneys filed a complaint and a petition to the South African Film and Publications Board to have the movie Hebrews to Negroes banned, meaning they wanted the film to be watched by the committee and to receive a XX rating. XX rating is child pornography. In the country of South Africa, they have never had a documentary. They've never had a movie documentary that has been banned. And they said that the only thing that we had a complaint about was a movie that has some questionable child pornography in it, and it was something else that he said. But he said, but even those, they didn't get the double X ban, because I think it was a movie about child circumcision. And so he said this would be the first time in the history of South Africa that a movie documentary will be banned here, but they didn't think it was going to happen. And so when I went to Soweto Theater to get a second place to show it at, because they had already intercepted Pretoria State Theater and let them know that the movie was anti-Semitic and not to host Mr. Dalton. So we went straight to Soweto and bypassed and said no thank you to Pretoria State Theater. And Soweto Theater originally said that they had no issue in that they could air the movie and let me do the event, but within 24 hours of me paying for the venue and securing it with money, I got a phone call from the general manager of Soweto Theater, and he told me I needed to come in first thing in the morning. And I said, well, I just was there, and we left at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're calling me to come in first thing in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. I said, 24 hours even went by yet. And he said, yes, I need you to come in. When I came in, they told me that the South African Jewish Board of Deputies, the Embassy of Israel, and I found out that a non-Jewish white organization had complained that they weren't happy that I was showing the movie there, and so they did shut it down until I threatened them with legal action, and then they allowed me to show the movie there without the service of the marketing and advertising package that they have that's built into the venue. So I was able to show the movie there, but I did not have access to the marketing service that they would normally give people that use it. And so after I had the venue, the thing there, and I inquired to use it again in 2024, like early, they said, no, you can't use it, Mr. Dalton. And I said, why not? He said, well, you have to get permission from the mayor of Johannesburg to use Soweto Theater. And I said, that's where it came to now? And he says, yes, you got to get permission. And I said, okay, who do I have to go to? And he said, you have to go to the MMC, which is the members of the members of the mayoral committee of the mayor's office. And so I had to, for me and some other people had to have dialogue with the secretary and the assistant of the mayor of Johannesburg, and we had to tell them everything's going on and how the movie is legal in the country, and how, you know, there's no reason why I should be denied to use the theater. And so eventually, I did get permission from the mayor of Johannesburg, and he sent the email to the general manager of Soweto Theater, and then they said, okay, Ron, you got permission to use the theater, and what dates do you want to book? And so we did book July the 13th, and this is after the elections in South Africa, and so we're geared up to pack the house out and blow the roof off the people in the audience with a lot of information that I'm going to share with them in regards to sounding the alarm. We have to understand that in the trilogy of Hebrews to Negroes 3, volume 1, 2, and 3, I'm breaking down the true land of Canaan, the true route of the exodus of the Bantu people, or the Bantu Israelites from Egypt down into Central Africa, and then dispersing into other regions. And then I'm also going to be touching on the nations that are prophesied in the Bible to be the Gog and Magog's army to cover the land of the Israelites like a cloud in Ezekiel 38. And it says after that verse, it says that the Israelites need to be on guard and to prepare against these people. And these people are listed as Gomer, Togarmah, Magog, Meshach, Tubal, Cush, Put, Persia. And so today we don't see these on the map on our when we Google map of the world or different countries, we don't see these names. But I'm going to briefly show the people that, hey, I said, do you know the biblical origin of the Brazilian people and the kingdom of Brazil? Do you know the biblical origin of the Russian people, of the Chinese people, of the East Indian Aryan people that control the government? Do you know the biblical origin of the Arabs today that are in Africa, the white Arabs and the black Arabs, and today's European Jews? Do you know their origin? Do you know the origin of the people in Europe today, in Western and Eastern Europe? They're going to understand very clearly that the Bible is unfolding as we speak, the prophecies. And this should sound the alarm and make them realize, okay, hey, first we had brick, and then a couple of years later, then South Africa was added on to the BRICS, and we have BRICS. So in the beginning, it was Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Then South Africa got on board. The South African, which is majority populated by Bantu Israelites. So there's a lot of things that's actually a part of Bible prophecy when we look at politics today in the government, and we look at all the proxy wars that's happening in the Congo, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Sudan, in Ethiopia, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in South Africa, with the elections. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. When you really uncover the layers, then you will understand that this is Bible prophecy. And one things that they're trying to hold back, very much so, is the diasporan Israelites coming back to the land of Canaan, and doing exactly what the scripture states that we're going to do. And this is really something that they need to understand. And I also touch into the prophecies of Mount Seir and the Horites in Ezekiel 35, how the land of the Horites is going to be made desolate and destroyed, and that there's going to be bloodshed upon bloodshed upon bloodshed in that land. And bloodshed means people are going to die, whether it's war or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be blood in that land. And where's the land of the Horites? Who are the Horites? Who mixed with the Horites? Esau mixed with the Horites. Esau left the land of Canaan, and he left and went to the land of the Horites, and he intermixed with them. He dispossessed some of them. And we know that in the original Bantu language, that when they gave the word Seir the Horite or Sair the Korite, that it is akin to a hairy, shaggy, cave-dwelling man or race of people that dwelt in rock caves.
Like the Viking type of people, right?
Well, like Homo neanderthalis, Homo neanderthalis, and Homo neanderthal, and you know, Ron, you're going to say, well, what do you mean by that, Ron? Well, Google Neanderthal skeleton sites, Jordan, and then I say, I don't see any. Ron, I don't see any. He said, well, Google Neanderthal cave sites, Israel, Lebanon, Palestine. You can say, what's going on here, Ron? Well, you're up to something, Ron. And you're going to see some other things, and I'm going to bring all this stuff out. People are going to be like, their eyeballs are going to be like, looking like that. But
that's why they don't want you there, because it's like you are opening up Pandora's box, right? Because we know that history was rewritten. We know that the truth is something that they cannot stand. So even when you have to go to the levels of having political leaders approve of your work, it's almost like they're painting this monstrous picture of you. Like, you need to be afraid of him because he is here to destroy us. But when you sat down to actually have a conversation with this mayor, then he said, okay, I'll give you the approval to show this. But it's because what you are explaining comes against their form of history to create their form of current events as the way they want. And that's what they don't want to be destroyed. It goes beyond just you doing a creative work. It goes into what the work that you do has the potential to do in changing current events. If you change the history that what it is presented to us, give it its rightful place, then the current events themselves shift. And that's not what they want. We know that Hasatan has his plans, but we know that the Most High has his plans. And that's why the enemy's trying to shut you down. But he's not going to.
Yeah, so that's that. I'm looking forward to that next month and seeing what turns up, because a lot of people that have been following Hebrews to Negroes, they're going to be there. And I every now and then I see people that they come up to me and they say, "Are you the guy that did Hebrews to Negroes?" And I say, "Yep." And they just start, getting excited. And then, when I went to Soweto Theater the other day, the guy had a phone, and he had a lady on his phone. And I was like, "Who's this? Who's this?" He's like, "This lady, she knows who you are." And I told him that you were going to be showing the movie there, and she wanted to know if you were going to do another Hebrews to Negroes screening there this year, because she said she wanted to come. And so the lady was on the phone, and so he held the phone up, and I said, "Hey," I said hi to her, and she was all excited, like, "I can't wait. I'm coming. I'm telling everybody." And I said, "Yeah, tell everybody come, because this is deeper than the elections. This is deeper than who's going to be the president, who's going to rule." I said, no, none of that stuff matters. None of that doesn't matter who's going to be the president of your country. They ain't going to change nothing, because they're not giving you no truth. The president is not going to wake up the dry bones. It's the spirit of the Most High, and the spirit of the Most High, according to Christ, is the spirit of truth. The spirit of the Most High is the spirit of truth, and truth has to hit the Bantu people for the dry bones to awaken. and so that's that. But the other thing I wanted to share there's a lot of opportunities that I want to divulge to people listening in regards to if they're considering leaving America for any de-dollarization happens, before any worsening of the economy, the inflation starts to get out of control in America, and they can't survive, they can't make it, they can't stay afloat. You got to start thinking about how long can you keep this up? How long can you keep up the prices and the bills and all the things that we got to deal with in Babylon, America? Some point, you're going to tap out. And when you tap out, the government's going to be there with his hand to pull you up and say, don't worry, I got you. I got you. I got you. Come on home. Come to daddy. Your daddy's going to take care of you. And this is the whole setup. This is the whole setup, is to make you tap out, and you can't survive anymore. So you depend on daddy government, and daddy government is going to tell you to obey him. Just like a king needs for you to be obeisance, to have obeisance to the king or emperor, you're gonna have to obey the king and his rules. And if you don't want to do that, then you're not gonna eat. You're not gonna have a house to live in. You're not gonna have work. You're not gonna have money. You're not gonna have water. You're not gonna have utilities. You're not gonna have any of that stuff. So that ties into the group that I have, the H2N, African Diaspora Land Acquisition and Development Group. Was a group of us that are using group economics to pull our monies together so that we can get some things going in Africa. We know that in Africa, that unless the land is given to you, unless the land is gifted to you, or unless you buy land, then you're not going to get no land. You can't just steal somebody's land. Either you're going to have to have it gifted, purchased, leased, or just outright bought. And these things are available now that we have the power of the dollar compared to the power of the African currencies. And as long as we practice group economics, then we can achieve a lot of things in Africa. Because at the current moment in sub-Saharan Africa, people that own land in Africa, they need money. And if they have a lot of land sitting there and nobody's using it, and a Chinese company comes along, or East Indian company comes along, or Saudi Arabia, or the UAE comes along, or Russia comes along, or the Arabs come along, or even if the Jews come along, and they propose to them, we're willing to give you, $10 million for 100 acres or whatever. They can overbid the price. They can overbid the price of the land, like the Chinese is doing in America. And they can say, I'll pay you this for the land. And they're like, what, really? Like, yeah, I'll pay you right now. Cash deal. Cash deal. They say, okay, well, take it. Give me the money. And they're doing this in Angola and Congo and Tanzania and Kenya and South Africa and Ghana and Nigeria. People are buying land. The Gentiles are buying land for a reason. They're buying large tracts of land for a reason. They're buying land for residential. They're buying land for commercial business. They're buying land for agriculture and farming and mining and eco-friendly energy solutions. They're doing this right now. And as they're doing this, they're creating like a gentrification of Africa, where people are realizing my land is worth a lot of money, because these people are asking this much for the land, and I can mark up my land higher now because look at what's being developed around me, and these are owned by the Gentiles. So therefore, I can compete now on the market and upscale the price of my land, whether you're Black or African American or Indian or Chinese. And they're looking at making money, because at the end of the day, people need money. And so my thing that I'm offering is that, while we still have money, whether it's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $10,000, $20,000, if you want to secure that in Africa, in assets and things that is gonna work for you and your family and your generations, even making you money. While the dollar is still strong, that you can make money and use it as a good investment in Africa, then we have the perfect group to do that. And as a collective, if you have group economics going on, then you can have 50 people or 100, and you can, put in $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 investment, and you guys can go to any country in Africa and tell the realtor our budget for buying land is $500,000, it's $1 million, it's $250,000. And then once you get the land, what do you want to do next? And you say we want to develop, units and housing and farming and this and that, business, commercial. And you ask the people, can we get a surveyor, an architect? Can we get somebody to, draw up the plans and let us know how much it's going to cost to build? And they can give you the prices and the quotes. You say, okay, we got the money. We're practicing group economics. It ain't just me funding this, it's the team. And they say, okay. And once you show them the money, they're going to get to work. And they're going to work and do the job just like they're doing a job for the Chinese, for the East Indians, for the Arabs, for the Jews, for the Europeans. And this is how we get stuff done, because we're not going to just, get a genie in a bottle and ask for 3 wishes and then poof, it's going to be there. No, it doesn't work that way. So
let me ask you really quickly, because I think that what you're doing with the land acquisition program is excellent, but we know we've been hearing a lot of reports recently, granted it's in different countries, but in Ghana, there's been excessive amounts of scams. And especially when we consider that Ghana was a place where the year of return was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, from my understanding, that Ghana was going to be giving out some land to diasporans. And now we're seeing that all of people's money that's been invested over there, not everybody, but a good portion of them are actually losing everything. And they're losing it to the government. They're losing it to scammers, which government could be one and the same. But how does what's happening in Ghana differentiate from what you're doing in South Africa, so that people who, would like to step out in faith, but maybe they're like a little cautious because they don't want to be taken? How does one differentiate from the other?
Well, one, we've been in Ghana and we've dealt with these issues personally. And, the group that I have is we're a group. We're not like, I'm an Israelite, I'm going to get land, build a house over here. And then you're over here in this city, this town, and you bought a plot of land from this guy, and then he's building you a house over here, and then you're another Israelite over here, another Israelite over here, and you're not a community. Y'all not in the community. Y'all not a group. Y'all not a community. Y'all just buying plots of land and building houses on them and living in different areas of Ghana, just like we would do in America. And when you're a single woman with or without kids, and you're living in a house or an apartment, and whether you're in a gated community or of a community with others that are in the community, like a local Ghanaians, it could be Arabs, it could be Chinese, they're all living in this estate. You're there too, but it's not your community. It's not your group. You're living, yes, in a community or an estate, but you're just one of the people in there, and you may or may not have any Israelites from America there with you. So you have to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, where you at? Oh, I'm over here in this part of Ghana, Kumasi, or the Sibo land, or anywhere west of Accra. And so when we deal with these land issues in Ghana, they have indentures, they have title certificates, deed certificates. When you deal with a lot of these, especially indentures, you can run into an issue with people contesting the land and the ownership of the land, and you got the indenture, and somebody else says, I got an indenture too. Somebody can say, I got a title certificate. They can say, I got a title certificate. And you're like, wait a minute, how is it that you got a title certificate? I got a title certificate. How is it that I got an indenture and you got an indenture? And we're in court fighting for who has the rights to this land, and I built a house on this land. And in Africa, in certain places or certain people like Go Black to Africa said that they're untouchable. You can get one, you can get two lawyers to try to hunt them down to get some justice, and you cannot do it. You're not going to win. They're untouchable and they're uncollectible. And you'll be running around spending tons of money, and then you won't get any solutions. And then if you don't exhausted all your life savings, then you might have to get an airplane ticket back home with your tail between your legs. But in South Africa, where I'm at right now, there is, well, I haven't seen any indenture type of process in getting land. Like all the stuff that I've been dealing with the lawyers out here is a title deed. You put in an offer for purchase, then the deed of transfer. When it's done, that transfer of the deed, the title deed is transferred from their company, their name, into your name or into your company, and it's registered at the deeds office, and it has the lawyers at the top because they're the transferring attorneys, and it's done. You're done. That's it. It's done. There's no arguing about who owns the land or not. So in South Africa, it's an easy landing spot for African Americans. And with us having the money now, we can get land, whether it's near Joburg, away from Joburg, and we can at least get the landing spot of land that we need to start to form a community, a group, and to start showing people in America that this group is using group economics and it's working. We got the land, we're building on the land. This is what it's looking at now. We're at phase 1, we're at phase 2, we're at phase 3. We're not just showing you AI images of a community and you're looking at this like, wow, this looks nice, but it's AI. But then when you see the reality of these things being done and the workers working in the bathroom, working on the walls, working on the roof, working on the landscaping, working on the roads, you're gonna say, well, dang, these guys are getting it done. And they're not having any scamming issues. And we all know Ron Dalton. He's a man of his word. When he says he's going to do something for the last 4 to 5, 10 years, he's done it. He's not hiding behind an avatar. When we come to South Africa, we actually see Ron Dalton. We actually hug Ron Dalton. We actually shake his hand. We meet his family. We see his kids. We see his workers. They know this. Ron Dalton has a tour. You come and see me in the flesh. So the difference is that with me, I'm offering people a chance to invest their money and come with a group of other like-minded Israelites in the diaspora that are, they either can be my age, they could be close to retirement, they could be in retirement, they could have assets in America, they can have rental income, they can have Social Security, pension, VA disability benefits. They can have a lot of things going on, and they know that the dollar is soon to crash, and the American economy and just America in general is a sinking ship. And they're looking at the future for them and their children, and they're looking for a place and a way to get out. In America, for us, trust is the biggest thing. Trust is if you can't trust somebody, if you can't trust this Israelite or this person in Africa, then you're not going to give them you're not going to give them money, and you shouldn't give them money, especially if you don't know them and you ain't never been to Africa. So investing in Africa from afar, and you haven't been in Africa yet, then at least you need to know people that you trust. And there's a lot of Israelites out here that are going to Africa that are trying to set up communities, whether they're Israelite or not. And you may not really know the people that well, or been following them that well, or seeing the longevity of their YouTube channel. You may not know what their heart is like. You may not know what they're doing behind closed doors. In different countries like Tanzania or Ghana or Nigeria or Togo or Cameroon or South Africa or Zambia, anywhere. But one of the things that people in the Israelite community has they developed is that even though some of them have not met me, they may know others that have met me, and they say Ron is a stand-up guy. Ron he comes from good stock. He's a family man. He has kids and a wife. He had a career in America as a PA, and he's still certified. And he left all this to follow the assignment of the Most High. And he's doing these things with all this opposition, but yet he's still making it happen, and he's making himself available for us to do this. And so, what I'm going to present, in the time that I have, is that there's an opportunity that you can invest, even if you have $1,000 or $2,000, to make your money make money for you. And the same process is going to help build the nation. And the one thing that the Jews and the Arabs and the Chinese and the East Indians and others do here, the Pakistani, is that they work in unity and use group economics, and they don't have no problem in investing to build the nation in foreign land, the land that they immigrate to, which in this case is South Africa. I'm seeing it with my own eyes, how they are making the monetary system right now before it collapses work for them. And one of the ways it works for them is in land. And I'm gonna go over that if I can share my screen. And so we need to, if your money's just sitting in the bank, not doing anything, but you have it there and you're spending it, and it's gonna give you any assets or anything in terms of investment or return of investment, then you might want to consider putting that money into Africa, into the group, joining the group, and letting that money work with us and others, so we can have assets. We can have our own community, a real community, not a scattered community. And people over here, you're an Israelite, she's an Israelite, but she just got scammed. You didn't get scammed. She got scammed. She got robbed. You didn't get robbed. She got robbed. Now she's going back to America because she got robbed, and she don't feel safe because she's not a community. She knows Israelites in Ghana that she can call and get support, and they can console her. But she's over here and she got scammed and she got robbed, or she got killed. That should not happen if you're a community. If you're in a true community, how are they going to rob you? How are they going to scam you? How are they going to kill you? The Jews in South Africa have their own little community, like their own city. You drive through it, all you see is Jewish people walking down the street, driving, and you see their own security patrolling the streets. You go by their communities, you'll see their own businesses. They can walk to the business and say, hey, they can speak in Hebrew. It's a Jewish community in South Africa. And they all know each other. And they have schools there and synagogues. Just like down the road from Rosted, there's a church and a mosque. Who goes to the mosque? The Arabs do. The Pakistani, the Lebanese, the Egyptian, the Palestinians, the Saudi Arabians, the UAE people, they're there. They have community. We don't. And this is what I'm offering in South Africa. And it doesn't take much. A lot of stuff can get done even if you're not in South Africa yet, but you plan on coming in a year or 2 or 3, or sooner if something pops off in America and you're like, I gotta get out of here. And thank God that Ron and our community have already laid the foundation in South Africa. And the more successful we are and the more we grow and build, this model can be continued in Angola. Brother Keithus and what he's doing with the Angola Investment Group. Also, it can be used in the Congo, in the DRC, in the RC, in other countries. But we have to move as a unit, as a group, with trusted people and leaders and people that are going to be on the board of directors that know what they're doing, and we can trust them. And since I'm kind of spearheading this, and I've seen the scamming. I've dealt with people scamming, and never again am I going to be scammed. And even if it means getting lawyers You know, at this point, I don't care if you're a white lawyer, if you're a black lawyer, if you're an Indian lawyer, if you can do the work that I pay you for and get the job done and not have me running around in circles and paying high costs or high fees and you're not getting stuff done, then I can't use you, brother. If you're not going to get the job done, we need to get the job done. And so, you know, these are the kind of things we got to deal with in Africa. But nevertheless, we want our people to invest in these things. And this is kind of like what I was going to talk about in the slides or in the video that I have.
Yeah, if you have, go ahead and you can pull the slides up and then I will put them up. But, you know, I love what you said about the group economics and we've been kind of like all coming to that same conclusion that we cannot go there as individuals and just think that we'll be able to thrive. It's like we have to go there as a team. We have to work together. And that's going to take unity. It's also going to take a dying to self, because one of the things that I try to help those who are used to living in the West to understand is that when you leave the West, you're leaving. I know it's Babylon, but you've become conditioned to Babylon. And so when you leave that portion of what you've always known to go, whether it's the Caribbean or you're going to the continent, there are definite changes. There are changes. There are things that you're going to have to get acclimated to. You'll have to adjust. And it's not going to be a new build. It's not going to be just like, oh, let's just walk in and then there's a brand new house. There's going to be a process. It's going to be, you know, and I think that, you know, that it's the expectation that we really have to be aware of, because that can like really bring people's morals down as well, their morale. When they go there and they know they can't stand America, they know they're so tired of the rat race, the continual exhaustion with life and their life being sucked out of them in the West. But then when you go to the continent, you're expecting that somehow it's supposed to just be automatically the land flowing with milk and honey. And that is not what's going to be the initial case. This is going to be something where the Most High is bringing us together. Now, I hear those of you, and I want to say this really quickly before Ron starts. I hear some of you and you're saying like, okay, well, the Most High is going to do it. Well, the truth is that you're on this platform right now and you are subscribing to the understanding of who you are and your lineage because the Most High brought you to this place, because he opened up your eyes, because he used people like Brother Ron, whose eyes he opened up for Hebrews to Negroes. He uses my platform and Benea's and Teo and Dante and all of these people, Pastor Kelly, all of these people who he has put in place to give us insight so that we would be congregated here. We're spread out, but so that we'd be congregated here. So the next step for those of you whose hearts that he is compelling to go to the continent is to now get boots on the ground, working as a united front, because we don't need the Arabs and the Asians and the Jewish community outwinning us when it comes to being able to work together as a collective. We built the nation's family, so we can go over there and we can work together to make this unification happen and get back on our own land. And of course, that's if you subscribe to Sub-Saharan Africa being the place where the Most High has promised for us. But yeah, go ahead, Ron. I don't see your slides up just yet.
Okay, so do I go to present? Let me see. Click on present, share screen.
Let me see if I can remove this last one. Maybe it's not enough space on here. Okay, try again to put it on here because it didn't pop up. I have the other two videos, and what I'll do is I'll actually remove those real quick.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see it now. Okay, perfect.
Now let me ask you, if I go to here, can you see that or no?
I see Israel Part 3, Episode 1, The Curse of Israel docuseries.
Oh, okay, so you don't see the beginning slide.
No, the first slide. No.
I wonder why.
Okay, I see the first slide now.
Because when I go to start from the beginning, do I gotta do this right here? Oh, no. Link to this slide. Oh no, I'm not gonna miss it. Because when I go to the first slide and I click from the beginning, it doesn't. You don't see anything.
You want to try again and let me see? Okay, I can see the first slide I can see that now. Sub-Saharan Africa is Canaan's land. Yes.
Okay, all right. In the whole screen is the slide.
No,
Oh, it's not.
no, it's not the whole screen. It's just the slides broken on the left, and then the first slide as to the right. It's big, but it's not taking up the whole screen.
Okay, so is this the best view? Is what I just did right now? Is this the best view? The best view?
I mean, can everybody see it? Y'all let me know in the comment section if y'all are able to see, because I can see it clearly, but I want to make sure that you all can see what Ron is showing, because I know sometimes the words can get grainy or they can be a little small. So do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat if you can see it well. If you cannot see it very well, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, very good. Okay, so we have some 1s. Everyone can see, so you can do it from here.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna try to whip through this because I think I got 30 minutes. But so sub-Saharan Africa. So understanding that Israel is not the land of Canaan, and sub-Saharan Africa is Canaan's land, is going to help a lot in the confusion and of understanding. Okay, what should I do? Should I stay in America? Should I leave America? Should I go to Jordan? Should I go to Egypt? Should I go to Israel? Should I go to somewhere in Africa? Where to go? But if we don't understand where Canaan's land is, then we really are like up in the air on what should we do. Should we stay in America? Is this the wilderness? Can we be in our wilderness in America? And these are topics that we have to hammer down. Otherwise, we're not going to know what to do. And many of us, it could cost us mightily in the end. It can cost us our finances, our lives, disease, a lot of things. So we already talked about July the 13th, Soweto Theater, Hebrews to Negroes movie event, Wake Up Africa, Hebrews to Negroes 3, Sound the Alarm, full-length documentary. And we already kind of touched on the H2N land, the African Diaspora and Land Acquisition and Development Group. Now we're already heading into our 3rd private meeting, meaning that if you're not a part of the group, then you can't get approved to be in the meeting. You're not in the meeting. You're not a part of the group. And if you want to be a part of the group and know how to join, what are the requirements, then you can email me at Hebrews2Negroes@yahoo.com. Hebrews2Negroes@yahoo.com. And we touch on different topics each time we have meetings to go over things that we need to go over, because this is a group. We're not just playing around, just chatting on Zoom. We're actually planning to execute things in South Africa using group economics. And that's important because we cannot do stuff in Africa individually. We'll never have what the other nations have. If we go to Africa and just decide, I want to rent a house, I want to build a house, I want to buy land, I want to start my own business. Yeah, you can do that. You can do all that individually, but you're not going to have a community. You're not going to have a nation. You can't say you're nation building when you go into Africa and you're buying your own house, you're building your own house, you're buying your own land, and it's you and your wife and your kids on the land, and that's it. No, that's not what the Bible says. So when I touch on these things about the Exodus route, was it through the desert? Was it through the wilderness? Obviously, this is a picture through the wilderness of Africa. Africa is not the desert. Africa is full of grasslands and forest lands and savannas and tropical lands, like in the equatorial zone, mountains and hills and valleys. In most cases, the mountains are laid with fat pasture and vegetation, just as the Bible states. Okay, so this weekend I'm covering on Saturday, tracking the true biblical exodus to Canaan was the wilderness route through the deserts of Arabia or the Sinai Peninsula.
Ron, really quick, have you moved any of the slides because it's still on the first one? Not sure.
All right, then I guess I gotta do it like this then.
Okay, I can see the second one. Yeah.
Okay, this is crazy. All right, when I do Zoom, it doesn't do this. Okay, so we already touched this. I talked about the land acquisition. You just got to email me, Hebrews10Negroes@yahoo.com. See how to be part of the group. We are moving. We're in our fourth meeting, and we are looking to soon acquire land in South Africa to build the community. When you build, you can build in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And we've been discussing all these things with the help of realtors and other people that I have connections with in South Africa. So we're from the diaspora, and we're using all our monies to put together in one pot to make these things happen. Because you're not going to build a community or an estate or do anything big in Africa if you're just one individual, unless you got tons of money like Kyrie Irving or anybody of that nature. So I mentioned about the wilderness, going through the wilderness of Africa, not the wilderness of the deserts. And this is where I'm going to be talking about this weekend. Saturday, tracking the true biblical exodus to Canaan. Was the wilderness route of the exodus, was it through the deserts of Saudi Arabia or the Sinai Peninsula, or was it through the dense forest land and grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa? If you want to register, you can, because I have the link to register on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can copy and paste the link to register, or if you can't do it that way, you can email me at Hebrews10Negroes@yahoo.com. I also, if you're on my email blast list, then you should have got the email blast about the link to register. And so on Sunday, June the 9th, I'm doing a DNA portion of tracking the true biblical exodus to the true land of Canaan using DNA. DNA cannot be changed. The DNA of the Bantu people and the mixed multitude that left with Moses thousands of years ago, it has not changed. It's still embedded in us, man and woman. That will tell us where the Israelites and the mixed multitude, where they went to, where they left, and where they ended up. Did they travel to Saudi Arabia and Jordan, into Israel? Is there any genetic proof of this? To prove this, skeletons, when you live, you die. When you die, your skeletons are in the ground, and people can dig them up. And there's a lot of things we could tell by DNA. I'm going to break that all down. All right. Oh, I forgot to play the video. We can do that at the end of the teaser of the Curses of Israel Part 3. You can stream it on www.h2ntv.com. And I had a teaser for that Shana can play before we end. I want to go over something real quick what this lady said. This lady named Princess Laura Adorkor Kofi. She left Ghana. The Most High told her to leave Ghana and come to America to present a message to the diaspora. This was around the time of Marcus Garvey when she got here. And she was assassinated in the pulpit in the church that she started in Florida, March the 8th, 1928. She said in her diary, in the message that she had that was geared towards the African diaspora, she says that I'm a representative from the Gold Coast of West Africa seeking the welfare of African peoples everywhere. She said, your native kings and leaders who are your fathers and your people who are your brothers and sisters have also given me a message to ask you. They say, have you been a long time away from home? Why have you not made preparations to come home? They say, if you want to come, let us know. And if you don't want to come, let us know. In the Gold Coast of West Africa, there is a door open for you and a hearty welcome waiting for you there. And she goes on to say, children, those of you who want to go to Africa, don't go into the towns that are already built up, but go into the interior and build your own towns. She said, children, prepare to build up the old waste places. She said, children, go way out among your people and put up your own stores because the other fellow is going to have and isn't going to give it away to you. I'm going to skip the scripture that she had this here because for time reason. She says, children, it comes a time when many of you will not be able to meet in these fine buildings. When that time comes, meet from house to house and pay your dues to your office. She said, children, your mother don't mind dying because old man God promised to give me the desire of my heart, and my desire is to see Africa redeemed and my children in Africa. She said, Negroes, if you don't mean this program no good, let it alone, for it will grind you into powder. It were better if a millstone were tied around your neck. She said, Negroes, you either see this program of leaving America to Africa or go back to slavery. She said, children, there is no big I or little you in this program. She said, children, God can make three and make a nation. Me die for three. She says, if I should fail, take my body as a stepping stone. A remnant out of a remnant shall be saved. In Mother's time, people still believed that they would never lose their jobs that they had. None, if any, could foresee the day coming when they did become the first to be fired and the last to be hired. So many of our leaders were preaching and writing that prosperity was here to stay and that soon there would be a chicken in every pot in the land. Mother warned her race of people of the time to come and what later came to be known as the Depression. She said, Negroes, prepare to flee from the wrath to come. She says, my God showed me hard times are around the corner. She said, if you are going to lose you are going to lose your jobs and never get them back. Times will be so hard, many will eat out of the garbage cans, which is what people do when there's a devaluation of a currency or the currency collapses, like in Venezuela. Mother said there will be signing up of papers to help your condition, but it will only be for a while. She said, love one another, stick together, and save your money. She says, don't be extravagant. And she said to save money. She said, clean up your lives, love one another. If your sister is hungry and comes to you for bread, if you haven't got it, but one biscuit, break it up and give her some of it. If your sister says she hasn't got any shoes and you have 2 pairs, give them the other pair. She says, serve God, love your motherland, Africa, buy machinery and tools and send to your motherland, Africa. Don't send preachers who know nothing else but to preach. She says, send God-fearing, dedicated men and women who are skilled workers, such as engineers, carpenters, bricklayers, mechanics, icemen, and men trained and qualified in the professions. She says, what you want, ask Yah for. He is the same Yah who sent me over here, and what I want, I ask him for. Children, if you pray and do right, God will bless your coming in and your going out. He will bless your pocketbook. All right, so we have to understand that although in the scripture in Exodus 6, Yah says, I will take you out of their bondage, redeem you with a stretch our arm with great judgments, bring you out of the burdens of the Egyptians, take you to me as a people, give you the land that he promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses and the Israelites still had to exhibit faith, obedience, and works. It wasn't just Yah doing everything on his own. He used mankind and leaders to exhibit faith, enduring, hard suffering, obedience, and works. So we can believe that they traveled through the Sinai Peninsula or Saudi Arabia in the deserts with no life, nowhere. Or we can believe that they traveled south into sub-Saharan Africa, which is what the Bantu people all say. But we still, as a people, have to be obedient. We have to have faith, and we have to put forth the word. We can't sit at home and just look at YouTube videos and have money in our bank accounts and just do nothing. We know America is getting worse. What are you going to do? If you have the means to get out or to build a nation or to help with building a nation, then do so. This is how the Israelites managed to leave Egypt and get to the land of Canaan, the land flowing with milk and honey. So when we left the land of Egypt, God said he was going to take us to a land of flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites. So it's important to know, where are the Canaanites? Where are the Canaanites today? Are they in Palestine? Are they in Lebanon? Are they in Israel? Are they in Jordan? Are they in Saudi Arabia? Are they in Turkey? Where are they at? They're in sub-Saharan Africa. I teach this all the time. God said he was going to give us the land of the Canaanites. According to the book of Jubilees, the English version, chapter 8, Shem inherited the entire ideal land of Israel from the Euphrates to the Red Sea. Notice how it doesn't say the Reed Sea or the river reeds or the Nile River. It just says Red Sea. And the word Euphrates is a Greek word, not English, even though we're reading in English. It's a Greek word. We do know that Ham was giving his lot, his portion, his 4 sons. And when you look at the word Canaan, Canaan in Hebrew, when you break down each letter, it means to allow, to tame, to subdue. None is life, seed, family, heir, to continue. Ayin means to watch, to know, to experience. It's the eye. None is, again, it's like a sperm. It's the life, the seed, the family, the heir, to continue. And when you look at the Ewe tribe in Ghana, Togo, when they say the word, when they say Kana, the same thing as Canaan, it means in their language, the soil provides. The word Kana in the Ewe tribe language means the soil provides. In Israel, the soil does not provide. And you can prove that with the techniques and technology that they're using to make it that the soil seems to provide. And I'm going to break this down this weekend. In the Abagusi tribe in Kenya, or the Kisi tribe, the word kanene, or in Kinene, basically like Canaan, means that which is large, fat, or abundant, because the land of Canaan was a large, abundant land, not a small land. Remember, the square kilometers in millions of Russia is 17.1, Canada 10, China 9.6, US 9.5. The Congo, just the DRC alone, is 2.3, compared to US was 9.5. India is 3.3. The whole of India is 3.3, but the DRC is 2.3. Wow. Mexico is 2.0. The DRC is larger than Mexico and Greenland and Saudi Arabia. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is larger than Saudi Arabia. Israel is not even in the millions. It's 22,000 square kilometers. Togo is larger than Israel. And you can drive through Togo real quick. If you drive from Ghana to Benin, they're going to say, well, how long will it take to get from Togo into Benin? They'll tell you. New Jersey, 22, about the same size as Israel. How long does it take you to drive from Pennsylvania through New Jersey into New York? Like an hour. That's it. Driving. It's not a large land. So we have to understand, when you look at the people saying these things about, okay, well, how are we going to be gathered out? Where are we going to be gathered out? There's nowhere it's going to be safe. The Bible says in Ezekiel 38, at the end, it says, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. The scripture says we are going to be brought back to the land from whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Now, are we talking about Israel, or are we talking about Africa? I will gather you from all the nations, the places where I have driven you. Well, we know that we're not in Babylon. So we know that we've been driven to the Americas and taken away as captive, as slaves to the Americas. So either the Most High, if you read this literally, either he's going to bring us back to modern day Israel, or if the land of Canaan is in sub-Saharan Africa, and this is where the slave trades happen, or we were carried away as captive slaves, then option 2, we're going to be brought back to sub-Saharan Africa, the land of Canaan, where we were carried away as slaves, as captives. To Zion in Hebrew is the name of an area or a mountain in Jerusalem. When we see in the Bantu language of the Congolese, Chiani, different ways you can spell it, it means my land. To Zion, Chiani, because the T is kind of silent in Bantu languages. And the Zion, simply, when you break it down in the letters, it means to journey, work, worship, secure life. Journey, work, worship, secure life, continue, preservation of the seed. Zion is where God dwells with his people. We have to also look at Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai was in the wilderness. In the wilderness, Mount Sinai, we have the smoke ascending into the heavens like the smoke of a furnace, and the Lord descended upon the mountain of Mount Sinai in fire. And Mount Sinai had smoke around it and fire, and the smoke ascended up to the sky. And the mountain shook. It was quaking and moving. We see volcanic mountains in Africa, yes. There's no volcanic mountains in the Sinai Peninsula, no. We see volcanic lightning and brimstone seen with volcanoes. We see smoke emerging from these high mountains like Mount Cameroon, or these mountains in the Congo, what is called the Mountains of Fire. Mount Zion is not a volcanic mountain. It's a mound. It's just a mound. It's not even a mountain. Mount Olives is bigger than Mount Zion in terms of height. It's not even a mountain. It's like a hill/mound. But in the Congo, you'll see all types of mountains, volcanic and non-volcanic. And when you look at the issue of, is the UFO going to take us there? No, well, the UFO, people talk about in the chariots with Ezekiel, the UFO or the chariots or the wheel within a wheel didn't take Ezekiel up, away. The spirit of Yah entered into Ezekiel, and the spirit of Yah took Ezekiel up. It says it, the spirit lifted me up, Ezekiel 3, verse 14. That's your book, chapter, and verse. The spirit took Ezekiel up. The spirit first entered into Ezekiel. The wheels within the wheels did not enter in Ezekiel. The spirit did. And when the Israelites say there's nowhere safe to run, Africa is going to be destroyed too. Babylon is everywhere. There's nowhere safe to run. There's no safety anywhere. These are poor excuses from Israelite teachers. They tell you these things because they don't want you to leave. They don't want you to follow prophecy. Misery loves company amongst our people. They want you to stay in Babylon and die in Babylon. Black man says, I got a 2020 E35 350 Mercedes-Benz. Black man, second man, black man says, yeah, but it's not that's not an S-Class. This, you know, it's just what we do. Israelite man says, I have a group of Israelites that left America and we bought and purchased land in South Africa or anywhere in Africa, and we are developing a community. Israelite man is a hater. He's gonna say, yeah, but you still have to find a way to make money in Africa, and you still have to go to the grocery store. This is our mentality we have now. Black man or Israelite says, I sold everything and moved to Africa. I feel free here and at peace here. The Israelite in America says, yeah, but the Chinese and the white man run Africa. Ha, ha, ha. You know, this is the stuff we deal with. The Gentiles don't deal with this kind of stuff. They congratulate each other. I'm in Africa. I started a business. I got land. We got a school. We got a synagogue. We got a mosque. We doing big things over here. Okay, congratulations. When can I come? I'm coming too. Let me know when I can come. Hey, this is what they do. We don't do that. We rather sit around, say we're indigenous to this land. We're gonna go down with the ship. We're gonna fight to the end. We're gonna fight for the land of our ancestors that died in slavery, that built this country. Well, this is what's coming to our country: war, pestilence, disaster, weather phenomenon. All right, okay, there we go. And when you look in the scripture, it says that Yah is going to take care of his sheep. And he's going to bring us out of the nations, out of the countries, and gather from the countries and bring us into our own land. And in our own land, he's going to feed us upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and in all the inhabited places of the country. He says that he's going to feed us in a good pasture. It doesn't say he's going to feed us at the grocery store. It says he's going to feed us in a good pasture and upon the high mountains of Israel, not hills and mounds, the high mountains of Israel, real mountains, shall their fold be. There they shall lie in good fold, and in a fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountains of Israel, not the hills, not the mounds. I will feed my flock, and they will lie down. Africa. Israel. Wait a minute. This is Israel just outside of Judea or Jerusalem. These are the hills of Judea. We have Samaria and we have Judea. These are the Judean hills. The Bible says, Christ says, flee to the mountains of Judea. Let them that are in Judea flee into the mountains. How are we going to be nourished in these mountains? There's nothing there. There's no life, no animals, no vegetation, no fruit is bearing any fruit to us. No fruit tree or anything is bearing anything in these type of conditions. It's the desert. We got the Jerusalem hills. Is this a hill or is this a mountain? Is this a high mountain? What is a fat pasture? Is this a fat pasture? A couple of trees scattered around rock, desert? No. Can man and beast feed off of this hill or whatever you call it in Israel? No. This is Israel. The land of milk and honey. Milk. This is the Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is a mountain farm. They are standing on a mountain and the cows are grazing on the fat pasture, the good fold, producing milk. Milk. This guy has milk in his hands from the cow. Do we see any cows on these other images? No. But they're in the Congo, in Central Africa, in other countries. The Bible says in Ezekiel, the prophecies, that he will make a covenant of peace with us. It will cause the evil people to cease out of the land. The people that are just abusing the land and doing us wrong. And the Israelites shall dwell safely in the wilderness, and sleep in the woods and the forest. We know that the Congo rainforest and many of the forest lands that we see are in Africa. And it says that in Ezekiel 37, and they shall dwell in the land that I gave unto Jacob my servant. This is on this earth, not the New Jerusalem. This is on this earth before the battle of Gog and Magog, where people die. There will be rest when the children of Israel come from afar, from the land of their captivity. There shall be rest, peace, quiet. Nobody shall make us afraid. It says that though I make a full end of all the nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet I will not make a full end of thee. So Yah has compassion against us, but he will judge the nations righteously. Look at this video right here. This is Israel last year when the war started, and the war is still going right now, because you see the attacks on Lebanon, the attacks in Palestine. It's still going on right now. When you attack another country, that other country is going to retaliate with missiles and bombs. So those people that are living in a land that was hit by missiles and bombs, now they have to worry about, okay, we're going to attack you, you attacked us. So both people in Lebanon and Israel, which Lebanon is also part of Asher and another tribe, I forgot. That's part of Asher and Naphtali extends into Lebanon. And so people are just destroying the land of modern day Israel.
Jewish woman.
Now, can you hear this?
I'm an African American Jew. Very difficult situation for all of us.
Hearing a little bit.
Well,
That's Shabbat.
Can you hear it? Can you hear
guys
it?
give a one in the chat if you were able to hear that. Two, if you can't. The volume is going to be a little bit different.
On Zoom, I know a StreamYard is different. If they can't, I'm gonna keep going. Can they hear it? If not,
They can hear it.
they can't hear?
Yeah, they can hear it. Not clear. Second Exodus says not. He can't hear it, but I think it's because it's not as clear. But you guys just listen more intently for this part.
Okay, all right, hold on. Let's see if I can go back. Okay,
We're getting ready for closing out of Sukkot. Early that morning,
out of nowhere, we just started hearing bombs like in our dreams, and then realized, oh wait, I need to wake up. This is something serious. So first alarm went out.
sirens going off, letting us know that missiles are being fired into Israel.
Took my children, went in the hall, went upstairs, and then we noticed it did not stop.
Non-stop.
Bombing. Also, we hear rockets. I was like, okay, this is not safe.
I have a family.
I have 5 children.
6 of us all together. I have children, twins. Immediately we started to see the carnage and the invasion of Hamas coming into Israel. People being killed by those terrorists. A day that we would never forget. That day on to even now, I'm still affected by it. We are dodging rockets. Our family is dodging rockets. Our children have to dodge from rockets that are being shot in Gaza.
As a Jewish woman, I do have a right to be here. Like, this is my home. This is all I know.
Judaism is connected to my DNA. We originated from this land. We were pushed out of here to all parts of the world. Most definitely, our people are from here. That's a proven thing.
Jews of color, don't let what's going on stop you from being who you are.
All right, so basically, you see there's no safety and peace and rest in current modern day Israel. And we have to understand that if you believe and say that we're going to be gathered, Yah's going to gather us, Christ is going to gather us, whether you're non-Messianic or Messianic. Christ tells us in Matthew 24, he says, and then they shall see the Son of Man, Christ, coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So after everything's all done, the seals, the bowls, the trumpets, the great tribulation is all done, Christ comes back in the end of the book of Revelations. Then you went through three sets of seven things hitting the earth. Then it says, with a sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. Is it the elect that is it the righteous and elect that are dead and those that are alive and remain, or is it those that are alive and remain? We have to peruse the scriptures to see these things, because we know that stuff is coming to America. Stuff is coming to America. We're already seeing this on a daily basis. Doesn't stop, doesn't change. We already are walking into our neighborhood, Walmart, our neighborhood Publix, Kroger, but these are not sustainable. The definition of sustainable is something that can be continued, or a practice that maintains a condition without harming the environment. Walmart is not always going to be there. If Walmart shuts down its stores, then we don't have Walmart. If you go to the grocery store, you can't get eggs, milk, beef, poultry, pork, seafood, bread. The shelves are empty. There's no macaroni and cheese, pasta. There's no spaghetti, pasta. There's none of this stuff you can get. What are you going to do? Skip that. So these things we have to understand in America is things that come and stuff that can go. Everything seems good right now in America, but how long can you keep up the race? How long can you take all the punches that America gives you before you tap out? Silver and gold, you want to invest in silver and gold now. Somebody told you to invest in silver and gold. Well, we know the Bible talks about in Ezekiel 38 that the Tarshish and Dedan and Sheba and all these different names, they're going to come and they're going to seek to plunder and spoil the land of the Israelites for its silver and gold. It says this in Ezekiel 38. It says silver and gold. It says spoil and plunder. It means to steal. Well, the Congo, Kibali, is the biggest gold mine in Africa. You got gold in Uganda. You got gold in Ghana. You got gold in South Africa. You got gold in Angola. You got gold in Burkina Faso. The largest single source of gold in history has been the Witwatersrand Sand Basin in South Africa. So when we talk about the land of the Israelites, the land of Canaan being plundered and robbed of its gold, you're not thinking about Israel. Silver mines also in Africa. Who's taking the resources and making money, profits off the silver and gold in Africa? We know who it is.
Well, Ron, before you continue, I just want to say, when you demonize an entire continent and you glorify a slither of land and call that the promised land, for all of us, that should raise eyebrows. Those of us who say that we are aware of this system, this corrupt system, when they say it's right, we know it's usually probably left. If they say it's up, we know it's usually probably down, because anything that they're saying to us, we have to give a side eye, because they've already proven over and over again that they will put a carrot dangling in our eyesight so they can distract us over here on this end. So they have the wars going on right now between Hamas and Israel. Let's put that at the forefront for everybody to pay attention to, for the proxy wars that are going on in the continent. They don't want us to know about that, because that's all about stealing the land. So, and stealing the resources, which they do all the time. So I think that it's very important that we look at all of everything that's been laid out, where we're trying to discern, where does the Most High want his people to be? Does he want us to be in some desert strip of land that's a little bit smaller than New Jersey? Or does he want us to be in a land that is flowing with milk and honey, that actually fits more of the biblical terrain and animal life than what we see that they're propagating as the land? And somebody has said, even in the comment section, when the Ish people are buying up land in South Africa, that should tell you that sliver of land that they call the promised land over there probably ain't it. So I agree.
So when you look at the prophecy of Genesis 15, 13 to 14, which is on the wall in the Mina Castle, on the wall inside the slave dungeon, the Portuguese and the Dutch, they knew about this prophecy and who it relates to. You see that it's talking about a stranger in a land that's not theirs. We know that even if you look at the Nile to Euphrates, we are in a land, America, that has not been promised to us. You can say, well, I'm in Egypt. It's between the Nile and Euphrates. It's partly this our land. You can say, well, I'm in Jordan. It's between the Nile and Euphrates. It's my land. You can say, well, I'm in Palestine, Lebanon, Israel. I'm in Iraq. You can say, well, it's between the Euphrates and the Nile River. It is my land. But we are in America. This is not a part of the land promised to us. And Yah says that nation, you could call it 400 years in South America, the Caribbean, or America, whatever you want to call it, it's still not our land. And this nation, Yah is going to judge. And when it says we're going to come out with great substance, it doesn't say shekel. It doesn't say the word for gold or silver. It doesn't say the word for riches and wealth. There's a Hebrew word for all of these things, but it does not use that word. It uses the word rakush, based off the root word rakash. Rakash means to gather and acquire and collect property and land. What did the Israelites do when they got to the land of Canaan? They dispossessed the Canaanites and they got the land. The land that Yah promised them was originally the land of the Canaanites. God said, go to the land of Canaan. I'm going to give you the land. So we were to come and possess the land. So when we come to Africa, we have a right to possess land, whether we want to buy it or lease it or be gifted it. They can't tell us, no, you can't buy no land here like they do in China, because it's part of our land. And once we understand that, then you understand that when we're in Africa buying land or leasing land or being gifted hundreds of hectares of land, it's all fitting in with the prophecy, because we're gathering and acquiring and collecting property and land. Let's go to the Hebrew word for wealth. It's not rakush or rakash, it's han. The Hebrew word for riches, great riches. No, the Bible does not use osher. It doesn't say great riches. It doesn't say wealth. It doesn't say silver. It doesn't say gold. It doesn't say shekel. Well, we want to think that we're going to get, like 10 carats of gold, 10 carats of silver. We're going to get a check $1 million. We're going to get all this wealth and riches. No, that's not what it says in the scripture. When you look at the Hebrew word for substance, based off the root word rakash, is to gather and acquire and collect property and land. They didn't have cash back in those days. They didn't have a bank account. They didn't get a check for $1 million. And when you talk about wealth and riches, even silver and gold, that's not the Hebrew word used in Genesis 15, 13, and 14. Let's start using critical thinking and logic. So again, substance, goods, does it mean a stimulus reparations check for Negroes? Now, if somebody wants to give me a check, I'm going to take a check. I'll take a check all day long. And I'm sure nobody's going to turn down a check from America if they decide to give us some of that money they're sending to Israel and Ukraine and everywhere else in the world. Because they send a lot of money to other countries, but they ain't sending no money to us. But the Bible says that we're going to be at rest in our land. The Bible says that the desolate or uninhabited places are going to be inhabited. By who? By us. And upon people, the people can mean Gentiles, it can mean Israelites that are gathered out of the nations, who have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the center and the highest point of the land. The word midst in Hebrew is tabor, Tabbur. Google it, look it up. And you will see that the midst, that dwell in the midst of the land, is the center of the land, the high point of the land, the mountainous area of the land. Where's the center of Africa? It's in Central Africa. Whereas most of the mountains are in Africa, It's along the West African Rift and East African Rift. And it says in verse 13, book, chapter, verse, it says, are you coming to take a prey? You gathered all your company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold. Where are they taking the silver and gold to? They're taking it somewhere. Well, the nations today are taking the silver and gold, and they are taking it to other countries, and they are refining the silver and gold. They are refining the diamonds. Who are the top refiners of minerals and diamonds? It's Israel. It's a known fact. Look it up. So when they take the minerals out of the ground, the silver and the gold in the land of Canaan, sub-Saharan Africa, they have to take it away to refine it so that you can sell it and make tons of money. And it says to take a great spoil, meaning that you're going to take a lot of stuff. Great means a lot. Goods, something you have gotten or acquired. Property, substance, livestock. The currency that we're seeing today is going to eventually collapse. And when that happens, are you prepared? In terms of land, we think that we're sitting good because we got a house, whether it's on land, you rent, you got a mortgage. But this guy here, he says that laws were made to establish a gradation of ranks, but it was soon found that the soil of America was opposed to a territorial aristocracy or people that's like of a high class status that have their own territories. To bring that refractory land into cultivation, the constant and interested exertions of the owner himself were necessary. And when the ground was prepared, its produce was found to be insufficient to enrich a proprietor or an owner of land and a farmer at the same time. The land was then naturally broken up into small portions, which the proprietor cultivated for himself. Land is the basis of an aristocracy, which clings to the soil that supports it, for it is not by privileges alone, nor by birth, but by landed property handed down from generation to generation that an aristocracy is constituted. A nation may present immense fortunes and extreme wretchedness, but unless those fortunes are territorial, there is no true aristocracy, but simply the class of the rich and the poor. When the Gentiles had the Berlin Conference or the Congo Basin Conference, they came into a land that had kings and elders and governors ruling over large pieces of land. The kingdom of the Congo was divided into 12 provinces, each with their own governor, which was the head of a clan or a tribe or a family line called Akanda, like Wakanda. So when they came to Angola, when they came to the Congo, when they came to Ghana, when they came to different areas, they had kings, and the kings and the people owned all this land. That was their wealth. That was their fortune. They were their own aristocracy in their own right. But what happened? They divided the land. They took the land. They carved up all these democracy, republic, governments, passport, visas, all this stuff. So at the end of the day, the Gentiles understand that the land is the only thing in the world worth working for, worth fighting for, worth dying for, because it's the only thing that lasts. Simple people can only be paid for their goods and services or extract rent from society. Less income is available to service the payment of goods and services when proportionally more income is used to pay monopolized rent for land. We're doing that right now, paying for mortgages, rent, property taxes, water bills, so they can't take our land and auction it off. So the major proportion of our income is going to pay to rent the land, because property taxes is simply you renting your land. You're paying them annually or biannually price so you can keep your land. Remember, if you do not pay your property taxes, you can't have your land. So it's essentially a rent for the land you think you own. So when most of our money is going towards paying for land, that means less of our money is going towards paying for other goods and services. So whenever property owners like the government or your state collects your property taxes or the rent or the mortgage payment from rising land values, fewer financial resources are left to us for the wages and the capital investments. And this dynamic can effectively put society on the fast track towards social decline and wealth inequality, which is what's happening today. Bill Gates is buying up all this farmland. All these major big corporations are buying up all these single family homes, and they're telling you can't buy it, you got to rent it, own nothing, be happy. Robert Kiyosaki says the richest people in the world build networks. Everyone else is trained to look for work and become consumers. This is happening for the Black people in America. This is happening for Black people in Africa. Unless we change things. The changing of things means that we require assets. Assets. We think assets are a liability. But the rich people, they acquire assets. We sit back in America and we think our dollars are good as long as we keep it in the bank. And we don't invest in Africa. We don't invest in land. We don't invest in a group with the group. So this is why there's wealth inequality in the Gentiles' rule. So I'm going to kind of skip this because at the end of the day, the most abundant factor of production is land. We have the requirements for production. You need land. You need labor. The average age for people in Africa is 19 years old. It's lower than Israel. You look at the average age in Israel and look at the average age in Africa, it's like Africa is like almost beating them by 10 years. So Africa is full of young people that have skills. They have the use of their arms and legs. They went to college. They went to university. They've been there. They've been trained. They just need work. They are on the land, yes, but they need work. And the big issue is that in Africa, who controls the capital? Who has access to capital? The IMF, the World Bank, the Chinese, the Saudi Arabian royal family, the UAE, the East Indians, Russia. All these people have money. They have the capital. They produce the money. So right then and there, they have the advantage because when they come to Africa, they can use the labor, the cheap labor. They can buy land because you can buy land as long as you've got the money. You can build an apartment block. You can build a single family homes and call it an estate. You can buy buildings and set up grocery stores and everything of that nature. Yes, you can do all this with capital. Hotels, casinos, restaurants, amusement parks, small businesses. You got to have the capital. The labor is there. The land is there. The human capital is what they need. And they're using this to their advantage in the motherland. We have to understand as African Americans in the diaspora that we have access to more capital than people do in Africa. So we have to bring our knowledge and expertise and our capital and combine it with the people on the land who are our brothers and sisters in Israel that have the land. They are ready for labor. We just got to combine all these things together. And this is where we start building a nation. This is where we start seeing the two sticks coming together. When we start unifying the things that we have with those in Africa that have the land and they're willing to give it, to lease it, to sell it. They have the labor ready for us. They are ready to consume that which we have or they have, because we all need to eat. We all need to stay in a place to live. So this is the basics of nation building and the unification of the Israelites. And because the Israelites have the raw materials, meaning the working capital is part of what a physical capital is. The raw material is needed to get the finished product. Money is needed to purchase raw materials if you can't if you can't get it out the ground, you're going to need money to extract it out the ground, and you're going to need money for manufacturing and production. So we have to understand that all these things like fixed capital is machinery, buildings, and tools which can be used in production over many years, and we can bring a lot of these things in and assist in getting these things in the motherland. We don't have to wait for Mr. Beast or Elon Musk to bring Starlink and boreholes and all these things to Africa. We can bring this stuff ourselves if we work together. Without land, there's no production taking place. So one of the biggest assets that we in the diaspora needs to do is to get into getting land. And if you can't buy land on your own, get with a group. It's like what I've been talking about. Join the H2N African Diaspora Land Acquisition and Development Group. And we can use this model to get land in many places, not just in South Africa, but South Africa is the starting point. Land is needed to farm. You need land to construct a house or a structure to live in. So we need land for business and for a lot of different things. And so land is given to us by Yah and is divided amongst the people. And Jacob and his 12 sons plus his daughter Dinah, they lived in the land of Canaan, but they were not the majority at the time because the Canaanites were there. Just like in Egypt, we were not the majority, we were the minority. But the Israelites were told what to do when they leave Egypt and get into the land of Canaan. It tells us to be fruitful and to multiply. And I think I'm going to end here. No, that's it. That's it, Ashanda. Let me exit out.
All right. Wow, that was incredible. That was incredible. Actually, I was getting ready to reply to Sister Deborah Thompson. She said, "Work together is what we can't seem to do." And I was getting ready to say, really, with everything that Brother Ron just shared, these are strategies. These are building plans. But the root issue is that we need to remember that we have to have mind renewal, right? So Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2 says, "Be not conformed after the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." And so what Brother Ron is talking about is exactly that. It's a mind renewal. And we all need to go through it, right? Because again, just like I was saying earlier, we still, even though we don't like the systems that have been put in place for us, this is what we've grown to know, right? This is the devil I know. That's the devil I don't, in one sense. Because when I say that, I say we don't have an understanding of what it is to be on the continent until we get there. But when we learn to allow the Most High to steer our faith and to change the way we think about what is supposed to be ours anyway, then we can unify, then we can work together. And that's called for pioneers. Now, I really want to emphasize that, because there are people who have a pioneer spirit, who the Most High is compelling, he's tugging on your heart and saying, I want you to work towards this goal. Don't sit down on your worlds. Don't sit down and say, well, I can't do it because, I don't think that I want to trust that it's going to work out well. If you are hesitant, that's why you need to begin to attend Ron's masterclasses so that you can understand the vision that he's sharing. That's why you need to jump in and get into the land, go over to South Africa, see what it is to be seen, and then you can make a wise decision. But don't just put it off. If you have the capability and the Most High is calling you to do this, then make sure that you're walking in obedience and you do exactly what it is that he is calling you to do. Brother Ron, thank you for such a powerful presentation.
Can you just show that the Curses of Israel trailer teaser, and then I guess we can just end it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to show it towards the end. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say before I get ready to put that trailer on and say my shaloms to the family?
Other than if you want to invest in the group that we have, the group that we have is slowly growing, and I'm going to present some of this material to those in America when I do the tours this year with Lorvins. And so those that don't follow me on YouTube because they don't know that, you know, I from time to time I jump on Lorvins or your channel, and they don't go to Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, and they don't check their emails. They might only hear about this at a conference. I'm gonna let them know about it because I didn't let them know about it last year because at the time we hadn't set up the group yet. But now we have the group set up, and we've been talking to realtors and getting a lot of information. And pretty soon we're going to be, you know, delineating on which land to buy. That's going to fit our needs the best way, and then move on it. And when people start to see these things, it's almost like the saying, if you build it, they'll come. Just like the story of the little red hen. The barn animals didn't want to help the little red hen when she was toiling the field, you know, getting the crops ready for harvest. And when she said, I need some help with the harvest, they still didn't want to help her. And when she had all the food ready to eat, they said, we'll help you eat the food. And she was like, nope. She's like, this is for those that worked for it and helped me with the tilling and the sowing and the harvest. And this is how our people are, unfortunately, is that they're like the barn animals in the little red hen story. If you haven't seen that story, just Google little red hen story on YouTube, and you see how.
I'm familiar with that story. We all grew up on that story now, but that's a good analogy. That really is.
Yeah, we want to sit back and say, nope, I'm not going to join Ron Dalton's group. Nope, I'm not paying any admin fee. Nope, I'm not doing anything. But as soon as Ron Dalton has a Hebrew Israelite diaspora community in South Africa that we own, we run, and it's our people there, they're gonna see it in reality and say, how can I sign up? How can I join? How can I be a part? How can I live here? How can I invest? What's my return of investment? Then they're gonna start coming in masses because they're gonna be getting tired of being scammed individually in other countries in Africa. And they're gonna be like, I'm tired of being scammed here, there, and everywhere. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of my safety, looking over my back, wondering who's gonna rob me, who's gonna steal from me, who's gonna kill me, who's gonna potentially try to rape me and take advantage of me. They're gonna be like, I need to be with community. I need to be with somebody that understands this thing here called unity and true nation building. And unfortunately, our people, they don't react until they see others doing it, or when, you know, stuff hits the fan and they're desperate and they need to reach out.
Wow. Well, Ron, thank you so much for coming on again. You know, you're gonna definitely be welcome to come back on the platform with any new updates and anything that the Most High is revealing to you, any revelatory things. We always welcome you to come here. And family, thank y'all so much for being in attendance and support today. Do me a favor and get those likes up, get those shares, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the platform, as well as support. And I know some of you are like, well, she keeps throwing that word out, support lately. Well, to have a platform and to have the initiatives that each of us are doing, it takes finances. That's the bottom line. It does. And at the end of the day, if the Most High is compelling you to support either one of our projects or both of the projects that we do, then we appreciate the financial support so we can continue to do the work. So you can support Brother Ron by going to h2ntv.com and subscribing and getting acclimated with all of the programs, the master classes, the tours, everything that he's been working on, as well as the movies. And there's a trailer that I'm going to be showing with what he's currently working on, so you can support that as well. Or you can support this platform as well. You can do so by CashApp, PayPal, Super Chat, Super Thanks, and yeah, pretty much that's it. You can become a patron or a monthly supporter as well. So I want to thank y'all again for for coming out. I'm going to share this trailer. And Brother Ron, Shalom, thank you again.
It's actually, the trailer that you want to share is actually on H2N TV right now. It's streaming The Curse of Israel Part 3, Volume 1.
All right, y'all hear that? It's already up there and it's ready to go. So I'm going to share it. And then family, as always, y'all know what I say. Love yourselves without hating your enemies. Until next time, y'all bless. Salam.
In my dreams every single night, praying for a day we don't have to fight, dreaming about that day we get up, we ride, kings and queens, baby, you know we gon' shine. All we gotta do is face the east to ya, and all we gotta do is get it straight to ya. If we don't, nothing change, all the rules gon' die. It could be a horror story or we could be a lie. We've been hated by the nation since day one, been in races that we can't win since day one. On the streets, in the clubs, living vainly, got no love for our brothers. We a family and we need each other. Only then will they see when we love another, that there is one up above and we call him Father. No one else on this earth, it was us he chose. Enemies, frenemies, they keep us on our toes. Die today, die tomorrow, we don't ever know. We just tryna live freely, they won't let us go. Imagine us in a world where we on top. No more crabs in a barrel, that mess gotta stop. We don't need no ops, we don't need no cops. Shots fired in the air, all the weapons drop. No more parents crying, no more babies dying. No dry bones in the dirt, cause today we rising.
Yeah, we need to call for Yah. Yeah, we need to worship Yah. Yeah, we need to face the east, bow on our knees and get to Yah. Yeah, we need to read and pray and face our face always to Yah. Yeah, all us we sin. Yeah, we all are men. But don't mean that we can't do the goods and try to win. When the heavens spot and get us all the life within. Have a lot of love, have a lot of stuff. Yeah, we made it up. Yeah, we Yahud up. Crying in my dreams every single night. Praying for a day we won't have to fight. Dreaming about that day we get up, we rise. Kings and queens, baby, you know we gon' shine. All we gotta do is face the east and Yah. All we gotta do is get it straight from Yah. If we don't, nothing change, please we die. It can be a horror story or we can be alive.
Shalom, shalom, y'all. Everybody out there in Babylon, America, Europe, Africa, the motherland. Today we're going to be talking about the curses of Israel, notably in Deuteronomy 28, verses 16 to 68. But paying attention to verse.
They never thought this day would come, and no, it's not a dream. It's very real.
The big elephant in the room for the black community is addressing our true Israelite identity. Black people are fed up right now. We want change.
The time is now to speak out. We gotta stop dancing and get serious. Black businesses? I don't see any black businesses in our neighborhoods. When will we as a people wake up? From physical slavery to mental slavery, nothing has really changed. It's time out for fun and games. The Curses of Israel docuseries, this is going to shock the world.